I'm Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario on this August 3rd, Sunday long weekend, civic holiday long weekend. I hope everybody's having a nice weekend. The weather's not bad, finally, except for a little air quality warning, but it's not like gross hot or anything at least. Dog days of summer, not much going on. Maybe Carney and Donald Trump will talk in the next few days about this trade situation, so we'll keep an eye on that. Caravana is still going. I said last night there's going to be a shooting still, and lo and behold, there was last night near the Caravana, but hopefully nobody was hurt. Still today and tomorrow, so hopefully nothing happens. Yeah, so I guess the main story is what's going on in Gaza, and what I think is the big thing is, obviously last week Canada signaled its intention to recognize a Palestinian state, but since that, it's been a lot of stories coming out of Israel itself about prominent Israelis, really criticizing their government and the IDF's actions in Gaza, and really going after Netanyahu. So I thought that was interesting. We'll look at that. And the second day in a row, this poor guy, hostage, whatever, prisoner, Israelis plastered over my X feed. And that's basically all Israelis got now is this prisoner, the pictures of this prisoner, because everything else is just like really against them. So we'll see what's it's going to be interesting because it's getting to the point where something has to happen, has to be resolved somehow. And I think it sounds like the Israelis want to go full on, clear it out. They don't want none of this diplomacy, whatever. So, obviously, ultimately, it's the U.S. that decides what'll happen. But of course, are they controlled by Israel? Who knows? So, something has to happen. It can't. I don't think it's. I think we're reaching a point where something has to be resolved, at least in the current Gaza war, because they've had a few of these. Every few years, they have these, and they always end up settling down. But I don't think this time it's gonna settle down. So let's look at this. Kind of boring, I know. Summertime. Okay. Hold on one sec here. My music. Piece of shit. All right. Let's just go through this. First, so the Caravana, after Caravana last night. I don't think anybody got seriously hurt, so that's good. Tomorrow's the last day, so we'll see. Okay. So the next post here, Edo Helbani. This is on Israel. The world is delusional if it thinks that we, the Israelis, would ever allow the Nazi Gazans to establish a state. We'll do everything in our power to ensure that the Palestinians will never, absolutely never have a state. You have no effing fucking idea who you're dealing with. So, I've said this lots of times, like, they've never had any intention. I agreed with him. I said, this guy's telling the truth. Israel never had any intention of allowing a Palestinian state. All those years of peace negotiations were nothing but a sham. They've been expelling Palestinians for decades to countries like Canada, and now they're going for the final ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Like, they're doing the West Bank slowly with the settlements, but Gaza, they need to do it. They're going to do it all final push, if they get their way. But there's 2 million people there that a lot of them don't want to leave. But see, my main thing is they're going to come to Canada. Like, Israel wants to send them to Canada. They even said so. Maybe not all of them, but a bunch of them. It's like, we don't want it. We already got 40,000 Syrians because of your destabilization of that country. So that's what I mean. Like, something's gonna happen. It's like either there's gonna be some kind of settlement where Gaza's run by a neutral authority, or they're gonna bulldoze it, like basically kick everybody out or kill whoever doesn't leave. Those are the two outcomes. So next post, there's this prisoner. They're showing they're kind of psyching him out like a mock execution and making him dig a grave, I think. Which, sucks. I wouldn't want to dig my own grave either. What's the use? They might as well just shoot you right there. So second day in a row, this guy's been plastered on my news feed. He's in a horrible spot and hopefully gets out of it alive. At the same time, Israel has thousands of Palestinian prisoners rotting away in Israeli jails. So stop playing the victim. Like, that's it. It's like they're only allowed to be the victim. Everybody else is like the Palestinian prisoners. They say, oh, they're criminals. That's why they're in jail. So it bugs me. Like, like, that's it. They're the only ones allowed to be a victim. And and obviously there's the issue with Palestinians getting food and basically supplies, whereas Israel's been accused of like starving them out, and the reason they're doing that is to get them to leave. You can't stay there if there's no food or medicine, especially if you have kids. Like, I've young kids, and just the thought of them being blown up or not having food or starving, like. And a lot of Israelis have like justified the killing of children. I don't care. You can't justify it. I don't care. I don't care. This is Premier Tim Houston's getting a little flack in Nova Scotia for pushing these, being all proud of these whatever these are, cabins of some sort. That's what we're expected to live in, these bad boys. That's a rack 'em and stack 'em. And what's he saying? This is interesting. Here's what new affordable housing looks like as mass immigration overcrowds Canada. Premier Tim Houston's plan to double Nova Scotia's population to 2 million by 2060 means lower living standards. Yeah, 2 million people, that's nothing. You gotta understand, in Canada, Ontario's got people. Quebec's got people. Lower mainland BC's got people. But the rest of the country's empty. Like, empty. Like, East Coast is barely, there's very few big cities. So yeah, I thought it was funny doubling it to 2 million by 2060. So there's not many people out there. But the way it's going, it's going to be all foreigners out in the East Coast doing the jig. Okay. Next. So yeah, he's getting some flack for pushing these as the future of Canadian housing. I mean, for one guy, it's fine, I guess, if you don't want any privacy or backyard or anything. But if for family, no. I don't know what they're pushing here. Back to the Middle East. Randy Hillier, a former MPP, has been giving his thoughts on the Middle East. Middle East is a great geopolitical theatrical stage for the military-industrial complex, neocons, and Zionists. But the killing, destruction, starvation, and tragedies are all very real. Yeah, like the whole Middle East is just a weapons manufacturer's wet dream, and it's one of the few places on Earth where, for the last 50 years, it's been like active weapons, live, live like war, like hostilities going on a large scale with modern weapons. I know in Africa there's conflicts and all that, but it's usually just machetes and AKs. Here they're using like all sorts of toys. Recently that's been going on in Ukraine, Russia too, but before Ukraine, Russia, this was like where all the toys got tested out. So it's a pretty good point. But the bottom line is you got millions of dead people, injured, and then refugees coming to Canada from the Middle East. So they get rich and we get all the refugees. Next. This is pretty interesting. This is a very popular Israeli podcast and kind of gives you an insight in their mindset. Listen to this. Hold on.
But doing it
to appease the.
is because we're looking for international legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
No one actually gives a shit. Zero people in Israel. If you go up to them and you're like, do you care if this baby in Gaza gets polio? They'll be like, I don't fucking just.
Yeah, Riv Oppenheimer would care.
Yeah, okay. There'll be like 20 people who care, and they're all wearing Meretz shirts. Like, fuck them. But seriously, nobody would give a shit. They'd be like, leave me alone, man. I'm trying to like buy
Eat
shit
ice cream
for Shabbat. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off. I don't care about this Gazan kid
Yeah.
with polio.
Also, as long as they're in their Nakba state in their tents, and we're living still, like, if you put aside the news, day to day is okay. Yesterday we went to a concert
Yeah.
in Elkon Park. We had lots of fun, me and my girlfriend. Shalom Chanoch. We danced, and it was amazing. And you can't help but think like it's nice to know that you're dancing in a concert while hundreds of thousands of Gazans are,
Homeless.
like sitting in a tent and
Yeah.
eating.
Makes it even better.
Yeah,
Jeez.
More enjoyable concert.
Demons,
if only
man.
If only they put the
live video
footage
feed.
of Gaza.
Oh my
Like,
God.
but seriously, you guys like that. That's what people don't understand. Look, like I know that you guys might be appalled by this, some of the listeners, but seriously, this is how Israelis feel. And you might think that Eitan Weinstein and Naor, who like refuses to kind of back me up on it publicly.
I'm from the UN.
Yeah, he's the UN. But you might think I'm extreme. But I have conversations with lots of people, coworkers, friends. People enjoy knowing that they are suffering.
No, also it's very prominent on Twitter.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of Israeli society. Not all of them are that like bloodthirsty demons, but a lot of them in Israel. But not all of them. I mean, he is facing some opposition to get rid of him, but it's a weird situation there. Like, there's starting to be a lot of criticism from within Israel, because before the last few months have been mostly outside of Israel, but now it's starting to crack inside. Okay, this should put to bed the idea that Israelis just don't know about Palestinian suffering. They know, and many celebrate it. The dehumanization of Palestinians is very deep. Yeah, they would actually sit. There's a kind of a ridge from Israel where you can see into Gaza as the Israeli army is bombing, and they would go and set up lawn chairs, and it's like you're going to watch fireworks on Canada Day. I mean, that's crazy. Babies are getting blown up, and you're sitting there with your fold-out chair and your beer, whatever the hell they drink. I don't know. I just can't imagine that. Okay, next post. Look at this. He's our trade minister. Meninder Sidhu eyes new markets, smaller trade. I was like, what's Canada? We have Gary Anandasanji as our public safety minister, all sorts of issues with him. We had our immigration minister's a foreign-born MP. Now we have our trade minister. He's born in India. We just have this. I mean, we had our immigration minister before from Somalia. We just have a habit of giving foreign-born. Yeah, they might be Canadian citizens now, but we give a lot of foreign-born people, putting them in cabinet posts, and then we have all these issues with foreign interference from countries they're from, and we're wondering, oh, how can we stop foreign interference? And I said we got to stop. I've been in my position. We need to ban foreign people from running for parliament. I mean, it's only 300 spots. You know, I'm pretty sure we can save those for a person who's born and raised in Canada. At the very least, cabinet spots. You know, but anyway, it's going to be very difficult without huge change. But I just don't think it's a good idea when you have only 300 spots in the whole country, yet we're eager to give them to people who weren't born here. Like, my dad is from Greece, and he came to Canada. I wouldn't want him as an MP. He didn't grow up here. He doesn't know the nuances and all that. Whatever. That's my opinion. So we keep giving these important portfolios to foreign-born MPs. Here's the next one. Would a self-driving Tesla semi be safer than the onslaught of Indians driving them with fake licenses? I said, yeah, for sure. I'd trust a computer any day over these truck drivers in Canada. Daily accidents. You're seeing it everywhere. People have died, you know. So, yeah, I'd take my chances with a Tesla truck. Okay. I've seen a lot of this today about Israel must conquer and reclaim Gaza and expel the population. This is Mike Davis. This is okay, I thought he was a politician. He's just an American. Ziokuk. But this is what's going. Is Israel and the U.S. are in advanced talks on an ultimatum to Hamas. Full demilitarization, release of all hostages, temporary U.S.-led administration in Gaza. And if Hamas refuses, Israel will launch a military operation to eliminate the terror group. So they want to escalate it, I think. That's what's going to happen. I think they're going to escalate. And, you know, it's going to get a lot of bad press. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. But I've heard a couple other people say today that we need to kick them all out and take it all for ourselves, which I think was the plan all along. Here in Canada, our truck drivers have to, the truckers are all washing their feet everywhere and in the sinks in the washroom, I guess, because of the religion. They have to wash their feet before they pray. I don't know. But this is the problem with Canada. It's like the Muslim stuff. When you put a large Muslim population in a non-Muslim country, you see there's not the infrastructure. Unlike the Christian thing, the Muslim thing's like a daily part of their everyday society. Like they structure their society around the Muslim customs and traditional practices. Literally, like the Friday prayers, the feet washing. So anyway, it's clear that the more they are here in Canada, where, you know, Christian people, let's say they're Christian, they go to church, whatever, but it doesn't really go in the day-to-day infrastructure of life. Here, we need bidet, like those foot bidets. Like, yesterday. We need about 1 million of them, because what they're doing is they go to the truck stop and they wash their feet in the sink. And it's like, I don't really want to use that sink if someone's feet's been in there. And so it's like, it's just one little sign of the incompatibility of the two. Either you're a Christian country or a Muslim country. And, you know, the Muslim country, I mean, the larger the Muslim population gets here, the more they're going to try to turn it into a Muslim country. That's all. It just doesn't work. Okay. Here's another thing from Israel again. Okay, this is Ben Gvir. This is the guy. He's crazy. He's like the interior minister of Israel. He's a crazy settler, very radical settler, very like a Jewish supremacist, very controversial. And he was saying, he was at the mosque there, or the dome or whatever, trying to stir up the passions right now. And he's saying we must annex Gaza today. So I think that's their move. I think they're going to go on for the full. I don't know what they're saying. I'm just going to assume he's saying we must annex Gaza. That seems where it's going. And I think a lot of Israelis think if he goes full on and tries to basically kill everybody in Gaza, it's going to be bad for Israel. So I think things are reaching a breaking point. Next, this was making a story today, is there's a Broadway musical, Jesus Christ Superstar. They're doing a performance at the Hollywood Bowl, and they pick this chick, the chick from Wicked. She's like a Broadway singer, and she was in that movie Wicked with Ariana Grande. And she looks like, she has the big long fingernails, so she looks like a gargoyle demon. So it's like, yeah, they picked the person who looks the most like a demon to play Jesus. It's pretty funny. I'm sure it was probably a Jewish producer. But, yeah. What did they choose? Someone who looks like a demon? Probably intentional. So, you know those Hollywood types. They want to get all the buzz, so they pick someone. Like, remember when they picked that butt ugly chick to play Juliet? That butt ugly black chick to play Juliet in the stage play? They just do that for headlines. But yeah, she's a demon. Looking demon, at least. All right. Next on Gaza. Shale Ben Ephraim. This guy's he's like a self-hating Jew, apparently. So he's been vocal. He's been very good at communicating the kind of the Israeli side that's against stuff like this that's going on, like the starving of people and the shooting of people and the bombing of people and children. So what's he say here? What people find maddening about pro-Israeli propaganda, yeah, I agree with this actually, is how it assumes that the suffering of any Jew is the most important thing in the world, and no amount of misery inflicted on the Palestinians matters. I'm an Israeli Jew and I find it maddening. I can only imagine how Gentiles feel. Yeah, it is. Like, they basically, if this guy's a prisoner, he's suffering, but they don't care about the thousands of prisoners in Israeli jails. Many are being held on like administrative charges, like basically no charges, just the state saying, "Oh, we don't want you walking around." A lot of them are abused, some of them are raped, killed, some of them. Plus, that's not counting the people in Gaza who aren't have food or medicine. So there's suffering going on all sides, but they act like they're the only ones suffering. In fact, they're probably suffering the least. Like, they're inflicting more of the damage, way more damage than they're receiving. So yeah, it is maddening. Look at this guy. This is what goes on over there. So this is in the West Bank. It's not in Gaza. So what happened was a settler who allegedly killed a Palestinian released from house arrest. So a couple weeks ago, and it was an American too, a Palestinian who was over there, and the settler shot him. And let's see, Union Levy was detained after an incident. So if this was a Palestinian, it would have been a terrorist attack. But this is an incident because it was a Jewish settler. He was seen firing several shots, and Palestinian Auda Hathalin was shot dead. He's an American citizen too. Levy was released from house arrest on Friday after the Jerusalem Magistrates Court found that he had acted in self-defense. Self-defense. So when a Palestinian does it, it's terrorism. When a Jewish settler does it, it's self-defense. Okay? There's no causal connection between the shots he fired and the one that killed. There was no causal connection. And look at the smile on his face. Oh. Those settlers, man, they're assholes. So, Israeli settler murdered a Palestinian on camera, then took hostage the body of the dead Palestinian, kidnapped his relatives, and exonerated the Israeli shooter. Israel then took hostage. Okay. Reminder, Israel conviction rate of Palestinians is 99.74%, and the conviction rate of settlers is 1.8%. Yeah, they're very treated lightly. They're treated very lightly. I've seen so many videos of settlers doing horrible shit, and then the cops would be like, settle down. And like, that's it. That's the extent. So there really is dual justice. And we know how dual justice, how that works, doesn't work in the long run. Next, shale again. We need to stop treating what is happening in Gaza as another chapter in the conflict to be ended with a ceasefire. So yeah, he's talking about like every 5 years this was the flare up in Gaza. They'd kill a bunch of Palestinians and then it'd be a ceasefire. So this is a genocide, needs to be handled by deploying peacekeepers to the area. Neither Hamas nor Israel have earned the right to control Gaza for all the suffering they have caused. Yeah, he's right, but a peacekeeping force, it's never going to happen. It's gonna be probably Israel blowing up everything and U.S. helping them. Maybe, we'll see. There's a nice shot of Toronto. It's still a nice city. No, maybe not. Here's a Dominion on the Canadian frontier. But it's not just big cities being lost to foreigners. Even small towns are starting to transform. Yeah, he's right. Dominion, that's correct. Like, I live in Sarnia, and we're about 60, 70,000, and you're starting to notice a total demographic change over, and you don't know how it's happening, okay? It's just there's people that weren't here before that are here now, and they seem to be getting more and more. Like, from Toronto, maybe, I don't know, but they're definitely newcomers to Canada, and they're ended up here. It's like they're being brought here. It's so weird. So yeah, usually the immigrants, like immigrant groups coming to Canada, usually like Greek people, although there weren't very many, but they start in Toronto and then they branch out. So it looks like that's happening, but the mass migration version. Okay, here's another Dominion. Anti-Americanism is in our blood. We must restore peace, order, and good governments. I thought this is a good little video about the difference between U.S. and Canada. It's always hard. People get, let's see what he says here. There is quite the difference. I know people in Europe think we're the same, no difference, but there is a difference.
What is a Canadian? You'll often see Canadian identity described in relation to America. We're not Americans. We're Americans but with free healthcare. We're Americans but more polite. Something like that. While none of these are sufficient descriptions of what it means to be Canadian, there is a nugget of truth in them. Canada was established in large part in reaction to America. We are the people that rejected the American experiment of radical liberalism and republicanism. We maintain collectivist, communitarian values. We believe in peace, order, and good governance, rather than life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We believe that the common good must be prioritized over individual liberty, and that a strong central government is necessary to preserve this good. Many Canadian nationalists and right-wingers reflexively reject our communitarian tendencies, and instead advocate for embracing American liberalism. And I understand why. In recent history, these communitarian tendencies have been weaponized against us. Censorship laws, firearms restrictions, COVID mandates, all of these are restrictions on individual rights to preserve the common good. But we will never succeed by going against the anti-American instincts of the Canadian. On the contrary, nationalism will only succeed through embracing our communitarian tendencies. It's becoming more and more obvious that mass immigration has been catastrophic for the common good of Canadian society. It has unleashed chaos and disorder. Our country is becoming unrecognizable. The only way to protect the common good, to restore peace, order, and good governance in Canada, is remigration.
All right. So, yeah. I thought it was a good little explanation on the difference between Canada and the U.S. They're very, very hyper-individualistic. And it's good. Individualism is good. But when that's all they care about, like it's kind of can have the opposite effect. So, yeah, Canada's a little bit different on that. We're about to hit 500 members. Oh, we'll see how long it'll be take for it to be labeled an extremist group by the RCMP. Go ahead, try it, I say. I don't think they will. All right. Here's Daniel again. I'll never forget my shock when I stopped at the subway in Altona, Manitoba, and even it was run by Indians. So Altona, middle of nowhere. And basically, if for someone who's understands the restaurant industry, what I'm seeing right now in Canada is basically any, let's say, mom and pop restaurant, pizza place. If it goes up for sale, there's a good chance an Indian's going to buy it. Before it closes, it's going to be reopened by an Indian. It's weird. Like, it's happening in every city. It's in Sarnia too. Like, we've had restaurants close. Like we had a restaurant that closed because of COVID in Sarnia, and it's reopened as an Indian place now. So yeah. For some reason, they have access to the financing to make it happen. Because, like, if you're trying to retire, if you own a shop and you had 40 years and you want to retire, and the only buyer, there's no other buyers, you pretty well don't have much of a choice. But it seems like they have the access to the financing because it's super hard to get. If you didn't have a lot of money, like, why would you start a restaurant if you had money? You'd be crazy. But to get a bank loan for restaurants is very, very difficult because they have a high failure rate. So they're getting the money somehow to close these deals. So, yeah, tons of Indian restaurants now. Next, Haaretz has been doing a lot of, the last 24, 48, 72 hours, has been doing a lot of critical articles of Israel. Haaretz is like a main newspaper in Israel. There's a lot of newspapers, but it's one of the bigger ones. They've been doing a lot of critical articles. Here's one. J Street president says Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Until now, I've tried to deflect. So yeah, J Street is like a Jewish lobby group, a liberal lobby group in the U.S. It's a very, very, prominent group. So now they're saying genocide. Like, it's crazy. There he is right there. Head of liberal pro-Israel group. Pro-Israel group. They're not anti-Israel. They're pro-Israel. And says he won't argue with those calling Israel's actions in Gaza genocide. So it's clear Netanyahu wants to get rid of all those Palestinians. He bombed the shit out of them, moved them all around. Now he's starving them. Now he says he's going to go in and, he blames Hamas. It's like they're the boogeyman. Which, you got to have a boogeyman. But yeah, this these guys aren't like kooks. These are prominent Jewish or Israeli, well, Jewish at least, prominent Jewish members of their society that are calling it genocide. These aren't just crazy left-wing university students at Columbia. Okay. This is the justification for the destruction of Gaza is the October 7th. But look at these cars. It doesn't look like AK-47s did that to those cars. Lots of discussion about that. So here's that. Nothing much on the trade front, but Carney and Trump probably talk in the next few days. That was Dominic LeBlanc who said that to CBS today. It should be interesting. So there's a starving Israeli hostages again, or prisoners. And this guy, Muhammad Shihada, made a good point. Because one of the things I wonder is, why are these pictures coming out? Like, does Hamas think it's going to make them get sympathy? It's going to garner sympathy for their cause? I don't think so. I think it makes them look horrible. So he was asking, Muhammad was asking the same thing, like, especially when the kind of the bad press on the starvation's going on Israel for not letting the food go in without killing people. So this makes, so why would Hamas release these pictures in the midst of unprecedented global attention to the Gaza famine? A, to show famine deniers how hunger is sparing no one. B, to help Israel's collapsing propaganda. C, pure irrational sadism and cartoonish lunacy. Yeah, I don't understand the reasoning. Like, it's like they're almost trying to help Israel. And, they say Hamas was created with the blessing of Israel. So you never know these days. It just seems weird. Doesn't it seem weird? Something's off about that. And today is our Prime Minister. Oh my God. Just when you thought Trudeau's gone, we're not going to see these kinds of pictures anymore. Oh, you're wrong. If you wanted to see the state of Canada, there you go. Elbows up, ass cheeks up, pucker up. Oh my God. I don't know. Carney looks like, what the hell, man? It's a good thing Trudeau. Oh my gosh. Good thing Trudeau's gone. Okay. Here's another Haaretz article. Over 2,300 Israeli artists and cultural figures signed petitions calling for Israel to stop committing atrocities in Gaza and put an end to the war. So these are people in Israeli society. These aren't kooks. These aren't anti-Semitic protesters. Causing disturbances on university campus. These are prominent Israeli citizens. So that's what I think is going to happen is he wants to escalate. Netanyahu wants to escalate this thing, and he figures he's got to finish them off now or never. And I think Israeli society is kind of sensing this, these figures in Israeli society, and they're like, they know if he does this, it could destroy Israel. So they want to try and stop it before it happens. I don't know, maybe. But it's been like an outpouring of criticism in the last few days. So I think they sense it's coming, that if we don't try and stop this now, it's over. All right. Okay, there's another brutal opinion piece in Haaretz. How Israel lost control and became an international pariah over aid to Gaza. Pariah. There's another word that's that's the word used for North Korea, or like some crazy isolationist state, not Israel, but Haaretz is putting the word pariah now. So I think something's up where Netanyahu wants to do that push. Ben Gvir wants to do that push where they think we got to do it now. We got to get rid of these. We got to force them out. And the maybe saner parts of Israeli society are like, no, that's not a good idea. Netanyahu. Saw this cartoon next. Do you condemn Hamas? So that's the whole point. It's like they're using Hamas for these since October 7 to justify any crime that they're doing. Killing babies, starving babies, killing kids, shooting civilians, droning civilians. We saw lots of videos. And they just go back to Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. If, that's the whole justification. I mean, it's pretty convenient if you ask me. So yeah, that's it. That's the post. It's horrible. So I hope I'm wrong, but I think he's going to go all out. He's going to go big time, like short of nuking the place. And that's why all the Israeli society is starting to pipe up and say, yeah, we got to put an end to this now. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't see much leadership from Trump. So what that tells me is he's probably going to help him. So stay tuned. We'll find out. And we'll find out what happens with the trade negotiations and anything else that pops up on the radar. So the next broadcast will be Wednesday. So what day is it today? August 3rd, 4th? August 6th. Wednesday, August 6th. So we'll see what happens in the world until then. So until then, enjoy the rest of your long weekend in Ontario. And we'll see you Wednesday. Thanks.